Okay, so I will show you just a short movie, and I will introduce you the studios, and will tell you something about this 1 minute. The first, I would like to show you just a short movie about the painting department. It's our school. So here's the studios. It's the painting studios. And as you can see, students paint there and use many different techniques like acrylic paintings, oil paintings, textile. Also, here we have some drawings, anatomy drawings. Students, all of the students, they draw the model from the first year, and when they are all older in older years, they are doing different stuff up to what they want. Mm, so as you can see, we have a model in all of the studios. Still natures. Here we have the textile studio. You can see this textile studios. It's very famous studios. And conservation of art. That's There is the painting in the architecture where you can make murals. So we have 15 painting studios and 16 drawing studios. On the first year you have limited studios, but later you can choose more of them. Laboratory of paper and the art books. You can find there the techniques about the making the paper, laboratory, and of mapping and making the mapping, and mm, narrative language in drawing. The printing shop, of course. We have new studio about 3D studios. There are some photos from the exhibitions right now. It's our school. Okay, so as I said, on the first year you have limited studios, just a few of the studios from the painting and drawings, and you usually work with the model and with the still nature, and you are you get the knowledge about the basis technique of the paintings. Here I prepared some examples of the works of the students' works. For example, the still nature, model drawing, the examples of the drawings from the drawing department, the exhibitions. Also, you can make some site-specific installations because we have very open program, and you don't have to draw only the still nature and the human body, but later you can work with your own topics, and you can make installations uh, and very different things which are related to drawings, like the objects. It's everything depends on your idea. the department of painting. The first, because we have two departments of painting. So the first department of painting, it's actually, you can ask what's the difference between those two departments. And it's difference because they are just different studios. It's only the difference between those two departments, but you can choose any studio from those departments. So some kind of paintings of students. So as you can see, there are some realistic paintings, but also some abstract, some installation of art which is connected to the paintings. We have some murals because they are there is a studio of painting in architecture. Some mosaic, and second department of painting. It's the photos from the final exhibition because every year we have the final exhibition, and you can see the examples of the works from the students on the final exhibition. And we have the laboratory of painting, I'm sorry, of laboratory of paper, where you can find the techniques about paper, where you make your art with the paper, and you work with the machines, which are very useful to your works of art. So you can find here how to binding the books as well. It's very interesting process to get that to your art. And another studio which is very popular, it's the studio of narrative drawing in narrative language in drawing, which we used to say contemporary comics. And this is the subject where the students learn intricacy of graphic narration, and some of the examples you can find here. Uh, for example, like that. Or like that. It's very popular. It's very popular studio in the international studies, and students choose it very often. And my friend who is a Spanish guy is the teacher in that studio. He's the very young teacher. Okay, another studio is the textile studio, which is where you can find some techniques about the textile and work with also with the paper, with the textile. Uh, Many years ago, it was the studio of Magdalena Abakanowicz, so it was very famous Polish artist, and not only Polish but international artists. Right now, in the studio works Dorota Tarnowska-Urbanik and Anna Gebel. So you can find here and work with the objects that are related mostly to textile, and you can work with the color, of course, here, and many different materials. Another interesting studio is conservation of contemporary arts, where you can work with the contemporary art, and you're learning how to protect them, or how to work with destroyed art. So it's very useful for, especially for the artists, for painters, because you are learning how to protect your art, uh, and it's very useful for you. Mm. Another new studio is the 3D studio of drawing, where you can find some techniques. You work with the computers and with the 3D glasses and with the techniques of the three-dimensional. Mm. And also, as I said already, there are the studios of the mapping. I didn't prepare here the photos, but it's very also popular, the studio of the mapping, and work it with the architecture, and how to show it, the mapping on that. In the our school, we have also the galleries, two special gallery for the painters dedicated to the paintings, which is called the Szewska Gallery. And this is the examples from that galleries. So it's always the interesting exhibition in the gallery, where you can see. For example, here is the Near Dark exhibition. Or, for example, another exhibition of Marcin Chomicki in the Szewska Gallery. So, what I wanted to say is that you have dozen of painting and drawing studios, and you have so many choices that you can take, and our department, it's really open and full of possibilities. I didn't get any portfolio, but I have one portfolio of my student that I can show you. I mean, he already graduated, but I will show you just a short example how my students works. It was the student from Korea, but he graduated, so don't be afraid that the works are in that good quality. You don't have to when you want to apply for the university, you don't need that those. So It's always good to write something about yourself and like contact and the few words about yourself, to make some examples of your paintings. It could be different paintings, but I used to say it's always good to work with the nature. Like you can paint the still nature, you can paint the portrait, or maybe it's difficult, so don't worry, you don't have to make the portrait. You can try the human body, the landscape is always very good to paint. So mostly I would say still natures and landscape, it's okay. With the drawings, it's always good to draw a human body, and it's important to try to have an examples of human body in the portfolio. You can make an examples of portraits of still nature. Mm, and other things what is interesting for you, but I would say just mostly try to have an examples with the nature and draw with the nature, and that's all, I think. Yes, thank you.